We're all good.
Just waiting.
Okay,
Sorry.
that's all right.
Thank you. Good to go.
Well, indeed, we are good to go here at Sunshine Coast Airport, and I'm very pleased to be with Andrew from the airport, from Gary from the Cairns Airport, and Matt from Visit Sunshine Coast, to be able to celebrate this announcement of our partnership with Air New Zealand to see an additional air routes to the Sunshine Coast Airport, to the Gold Coast Airport, and to Cairns Airport. That'll see year-round air routes from New Zealand to those airports to support what already exists with year-round flights into Brisbane Airport. But we'll see more flights for Brisbane as well as part of this package. But we're seeing direct flights from Auckland to the Sunshine Coast, Auckland to Cairns, and from Christchurch into the Gold Coast as a result of this work that we're doing as part of our economic recovery plan. The Palaszczuk government's economic recovery plan is all about supporting our vital tourism industry through the challenges that the pandemic has delivered. It's meant some $860 million worth of direct support to tourism operators and activities. That's included the aviation support programs that have led to this particular project that will help support that Trans-Tasman bubble to really deliver for tourism operators right throughout Queensland. I'm very pleased that we've been able to strike this partnership with Air New Zealand, which will make sure that we not only get access to those important New Zealand markets, but also access to the very valuable list of people who have Air New Zealand points. Obviously, getting New Zealanders to come to Queensland is the whole point of this. So we're really excited that we've been able to strike that arrangement and deliver great outcomes to really demonstrate that Queensland is good to go. We are just about to really see Tourism and Events Queensland really do a massive push into New Zealand with our Good to Go campaign. So these aviation connections are vitally important to make that as easy as possible for Kiwis to realise that they can enjoy a different sort of winter here on the Sunshine Coast or the Gold Coast or in tropical North Queensland, and encourage them to take up the opportunities that these direct flights represent. I'm really excited that this is going to be now confirmed as a year-round opportunity, not just seasonal. So that's something that will deliver for Queenslanders, and as further demonstration that we are good to go.
How is this different from what was already in place?
Yes, because it's going to be year-round, not seasonal.
So it was just, in some times of the year that you have Air New Zealand flights, and now it's going to be all year. So.
Correct, and I think completely new routes for the first time, like I think Christchurch to the Gold Coast. But it'll be great to see, particularly here for Sunshine Coast. This has been an ambition for the Sunshine Coast, and I'm sure Andrew and Matt can both speak to this. Here on the Sunshine Coast, it's been a very strong ambition of Sunshine Coast Airport to have direct flights into with Air New Zealand into the Sunshine Coast Airport all year round. This will be a real strong opportunity for this market in particular. We've identified how the tastes of New Zealand travellers, it's not only about people who are completely independent travellers, but it's also that very important friends and family market, which is a big part of our visitor economy here in Queensland, and New Zealand represents that, is a very, very big part of that. New Zealanders have been traditionally our second largest international source of visitors after China. So it is important that we re-establish that and reconnect with that, but make sure that it happens, has an opportunity to happen all year round. And the Sunshine Coast is in a very good position to take advantage of that with the tastes of New Zealand visitors who might be visiting friends and family, or who might be travelling completely independently. Their tastes are maybe more aligned with some of the offer that's available here on the Sunshine Coast and across the broader region, including Noosa and up to the Wide Bay.
Would you say it's almost a vote of confidence in how Queensland's management proposes that this is going to be a year-round, offering now?
There's no question that the way in which we've handled the challenges of the pandemic from a health point of view has put us in the best possible position to take advantage of it from an economic point of view. This is a vote of confidence in our partnership with Air New Zealand, but it's also a vote of confidence that we'll see transition as we see international visitors re-emerging, starting with New Zealand, choosing Queensland as a safe place for them to come and visit.
Isn't it all a bit fraught travel at the moment? I mean, we've got cases in Brisbane. There are cases obviously in Sydney, and I think New Zealand had some cases only the other week. You know, it's still happening, this pandemic. People can't really plan.
Oh, this is an opportunity for people to know that there are options for them available. There's no question that the pandemic is continuing, and we have to manage it and continue to be strong and consistent in our health response. And I think you're seeing that at the moment in terms of how we're dealing with the major outbreak that seems to have occurred in Greater Sydney. But what we need to be ready for is that future of the market and the future of how we can encourage and support people. I know what we're seeing right at the moment is, with some inevitable as a consequence of the current situation, cancellations coming out of Greater Sydney, we're actually seeing that being soaked up by interest ahead of the school holidays coming out of Victoria. So I'm very pleased to see that, and we want to encourage that further. And in fact, Tourism and Events Queensland are doing a lot of work to make sure we to secure any of those opportunities for Victorians who are now very welcome to come and holiday in Queensland and have a great time over our winter holidays.
That travel bubble is obviously looked after at a federal level, but have there been any further protocols put in place from your state government to ensure the safety of Queenslanders with New Zealanders travelling at the border?
Yeah, well, we have in place our requirements around travel declarations of people entering the state. That's been an added element that we've put in place in recent times, and that's certainly been working very effectively and efficiently, and I think you'll see that as becoming a common thing across all jurisdictions in Australia where we have, and there's an overlay, of course, that with the international border. But that adds an extra level of understanding of where people might have travelled before they arrive.
Just on New South Wales, how are you expecting that the border closure will affect our economy here?
Well, certainly there is been an impact of, we're already seeing and having reports from operators about not just cancellations. Thankfully, a lot of operators have been reporting and acknowledging that there are deferrals of bookings that have been made by New South Wales customers, particularly Greater Sydney customers. But we have, as I said, seen some of that being soaked up by great interest, short-term interest for the coming school holidays coming out of Victoria. Very pleased that we're able to see that the border restrictions that were in place in relation to Victorians have been lifted as of 1 a.m. this morning. And that means that we can welcome our Victorian friends to come in and enjoy part of being part of a wonderful Queensland holiday.
With this New Zealand and obviously the border closures, is there any funding for Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast tourism operators who are affected by border closures, or funding to help them take advantage of this Air New Zealand thing? Are you getting any money out of it?
Well, there's been as I said, $860 million worth of support injected into local economies and local tourism operators to support them and to support the broader industry by the Palaszczuk government since the beginning of the pandemic. We were the first jurisdiction in the country to provide support at the time of the declaration of the pandemic, and we've continued to support it with in the budget last week a further aviation package over and above the one that's delivering this element and so many others of $10 million to support further aviation activations into the future. We see our Holiday Dollars program right throughout the state in so many different parts of the state that have been affected by international border closures continuing to be on operation, and that's making a difference to support providers on the local scene.
Just back to Sydney and
Well, I'm not in a position to be able to put a figure on that right at the moment. Those effects are still being felt, to be blunt. But I'm pleased to say that the initial reports are that we are seeing that there's not the amount of postponements and deferrals of bookings rather than cancellations is strong, but that we are also seeing the vacancies being taken up by Victorians and Queenslanders. And I'd really finalise by encouraging any Queenslanders who want to take advantage who maybe haven't made a booking for the school holidays, who want to get out and enjoy what Queensland has to offer, to get out there and do it, knowing that there will be some offers available. And I'd highlight that Tourism Events Queensland have already got a program in place to support the industry in putting up last-minute deals and targeting those specifically at the Victorian market, but also making sure that Queenslanders can get access to those as well. So anyone who's interested, check out queensland.com. You'll find out all the opportunities that are available.
Minister, do you think that the Queensland government has struck the right balance between trying to get the tourism economy working again, but yet still maintaining a good health perspective?
We've always said that the health of Queenslanders comes absolutely first, and we'll continue to make that the mainstay of what we do. But we are getting the balance right. As a consequence of our strong health response, we've actually had the strongest performance as a broader Queensland economy, and tourism has been a big part of that. If you compare the latest overnight visitor data collected by independent tourism agencies, you'll see that the March 2021 figures in terms of overnight visitor stays compared to March 2020 saw an 88% increase in overnight visitor stays in Queensland. That's a massive demonstration of how successful we've been at capturing that domestic market in the face of the challenges that the international border closures continue to show. Well, Tourism and Events Queensland have continued their great work in telling the story of how Queensland is good to go right throughout the state. And they're doing that in response to the challenges represented by the hotspot declaration for Greater Sydney, that we're making sure that the best possible deals with from accommodation providers and experience providers right throughout Queensland are being presented to our friends in Victoria in particular. This means that they're providing support to operators to put their deals up on the queensland.com site to make them available for as many potential short-term visitors, short notice visitors to make a booking to come and enjoy Queensland at its absolute finest. Beautiful Queensland winters. There's nothing like it, particularly if you're a Victorian.
Last question just before we have a chat with these guys.
Got one from Wide Bay, if that's all right.
Yep.
What's your message to tourism operators in Wide Bay, like Lady Musgrave Tours, who have lost bookings because of the border closure?
Well, as I said, this is the opportunity to do particular and direct marketing to our friends in Victoria, where we have had the impact of the Greater Sydney hotspot. I encourage those operators who are feeling the impacts of that to go after those opportunities that are represented by, in the face of circumstances across the globe, but throughout Australia and over the past few months, there's been a growing emergence of people willing to make bookings that are short term, to make a decision to travel not weeks and months ahead, but a few days ahead. So don't be afraid. Don't think that there's no chance of getting those vacancies filled. Get out there and market them. And Tourism and Events Queensland are there to help. Okay.
Good, thank you.
Andrew, have you got something to say or any questions?
Andrew Brody, Chief Executive Officer, Sunshine Coast Airport.
Andrew, how does it feel to be knowing that you're going to be landing an international plane on the new runway?
It is surreal, and as the Minister just mentioned, it's been one of our highest priorities to bring all year round services directly into our wider region, and the Minister spoke about it. Our region encompasses Bundaberg all the way to south of Caloundra and 4 hours west, so it's a fantastic opportunity for our wider community to take benefit from this service. So thanks must go to the Minister and his department, also to Tourism Events Queensland, who've done an amazing job in helping to secure these services all year round into the coast. Thanks must also go to Visit Sunshine Coast, and Matt Stokel's here today, and Tourism Noosa, and Melanie Anderson is here today, and I thank you all for the continued work that you will do to bring more people from New Zealand directly into the coast. This service will bring 3 services a week initially. Just over 45,000 New Zealanders will come into this region, and obviously every single service out of New Zealand brings in just under $150,000 in tourism spend per aircraft.
Andrew, at a time where I guess we've got hotspots popping up here and there, and you can't plan a month in the future, I guess to have this deal locked in, what does this mean for the airport with our local?
It's phenomenal for this airport. You know, obviously 12 months ago, this airport effectively closed the terminal. Today, we're looking at a very different situation. You know, Melbourne is returning. Melbourne loads are extremely positive, as the Minister mentioned. Credit to the Queensland government, they haven't locked down all of New South Wales. It's only isolated to certain regions. So people from New South Wales still can come to Queensland, which is fantastic. So we want to capitalise on all of that and actually bring more people into a really safe and empowering environment. We live in God's country. You know, one side is the national park and the other side is the beach. So people will want to spend time in our region, particularly from New Zealand, where it's cold at the moment, right? They want to come, well, maybe not today, but they do want to come directly into the Sunshine Coast.
How is the school holiday period looking? Are you expecting it to be busy here at the airport?
Absolutely. We will have just over 51 services a week in from Tullamarine and Victoria. So those services are going really well and selling well. And obviously, New South Wales will be a challenge for a little bit of a while until the Greater Sydney is fully open. I understand that the inbound service from New Zealand on the first flight is just over 120,000 passengers coming in. 120 passengers, coming in. Yeah.
How is Alliance going? Those flights to and from Canberra, I went on some. It was really nice because they were only half full.
Yeah, the Alliance services are going really well. We've obviously had a meeting with Alliance quite recently, and they're very happy in both the Cairns and the Canberra service.
Andrew, are you able to give an idea of the flights in and out pre-COVID to where they are now? Has it bounced back, and to what extent have all the flights bounced back?
So pre-Victoria being locked down, we were at 120% pre-COVID numbers. So as of today, we're just below pre-COVID numbers, so FY19 numbers, and obviously this New Zealand service, which will return on Monday, will bring services above and beyond that.
So you're going to be having more flights than you did in 2019?
Once Greater Sydney returns to normality, absolutely.
And is it a bit weary for staff, security, airlines, everyone, this constant lockdowns, not lockdowns, this one, that one, case here, case there? It must be exhausting for people.
Do you know what? We learned a lot over the last 12 months, and this is the new normal. For us, it's about managing the situation we can control, and obviously working with our partners to secure more services, to actually secure a safe environment. And that's what we work hard as from an airport operator perspective, how we can keep the environment safe and go forward. For us, it's the new normal.
With these extra flights, have you got any plans to expand, put more seats in the departure area or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very good question. One thing we are working very hard at the moment is how we actually expand the terminal envelope. And over the course of the next 24 months, you will see significant change here at our terminal.
Thank you.
Hello, man.
Hello. Matt Stokel from Visit Sunshine Coast.
Well, I guess to kick us off, what does this mean for the Sunshine Coast having year-round flights coming in from New Zealand now?
It's been a really challenging year for the Sunshine Coast tourism industry, and finally today we've got some great news. we love having the Kiwis here in the destination, and Kiwis love coming to the Sunshine Coast, and we love having them here. Prior to COVID, New Zealand was our #1 international market, and it was worth more than $110 million to the destination. And we achieved that with a seasonal service. With a year-round service, we expect to see more than 50,000 more seats to the destination, and of course we'll attract more and more Kiwis.
So in terms of that $110 million value, that will obviously be greater as a result of having those
Correct.
services. That's what you were hoping for?
Correct. New Zealand's also a really strategically important market for the Sunshine Coast because the Kiwis travel year-round to the destination. So if they travel year-round to the destination, it's great that we've now got a year-round service to help them to access us even easier.
How are operators feeling with school holidays starting today? How are bookings looking?
The operators have had a challenging week. Of course, the announcements about Greater Sydney was news that no one wanted to hear. However, Sunshine Coast is now good to go to Victoria, and all our operators are working really hard in switching bookings, managing cancellations, and trying to draw up visitors from Victoria and our drive market to mitigate any of those impacts that we've received from the Greater Sydney restrictions.
Matt, do you think that this paves the way for more international destinations to eventually go online and be able to come back to the Sunshine Coast?
I think the first international destination is the hardest, and to secure year-round services for Kiwis direct into Paradise in an airport that's only 5 minutes from some of our key tourism infrastructure is such a big step. And it's a great first step, and of course, we look forward to other announcements in future.
What more could the state government or federal governments be doing to help operators navigate these constant, closures, openings, cases here, cases there?
The most important thing is that the state government, local governments, federal governments, and our tourism industry continue to work together to navigate a path through COVID-19. We've still got a long way to go through it, and we want to make the most out of it and ensure that our operators can continue to operate and get through this pandemic. Okay, anything else? Thank you.
Just to go with
I guess.
Airport. Yeah, we'll grab you as well, if that's all right.
Can do.
Excellent.
Thanks.
Sunny,
Thank you.
good. Must be cold.
That's okay.
Question for you.
Gary Porter, Chief Operating Officer, North Queensland Airports.
In terms of services into Cairns, take us through what that will look like.
Yeah, so as the Minister announced, we're going from a seasonal to a year-round service as well, which is an additional 20,000 seats coming into our region as well. Looking at over $1 million a week investment of tourism dollars into the region.
How exciting is this for your region?
Yeah, this is one that we've been working on for a long time in terms of trying to get some sort of recovery back into international. We did have some PNG flights. They ceased due to the outbreak up in PNG. So to actually have an international terminal open and running again is very exciting.
Now, obviously we heard that the NZ market is very lucrative for the sunny coast. How about in Cairns? What
It's similar. I think they want to come to the reef and rainforest just like the forest and the beach here in the Sunshine Coast. So we've got two unique regions that we can work together to actually grow the market together.
The Cairns operators were really hurting during border closures. How are they going now?
These border closures opening and shutting and going into hotspots has actually helped them. They're still struggling like the most of the industry, but the airlines are working with us. The recovery money that the government has given us has actually helped the region, and we'll do everything we can to ensure that we've got capacity to help those tour operators and the hotel operators.
Cairns is a bigger international market than the Sunshine Coast.
Yeah.
More international to the reef.
Yeah, we're obviously nowhere near where we'd like to be, with Japan and Singapore being our key markets, but New Zealand's always been one that's been tried and tested for us, and we're excited to have them back.
My colleague referred to it before, but what more do you think could be done in state and federal governments right now?
I think there's a collaborative approach, and I think we're all working together to get the best outcome. And I think as long as the channels are open and we can have open dialogue, this is where industry and government come together to actually get the best outcome for everyone.
What about the barrier reef UNESCO listing of endangered and concerns about that. Has that got operators worried?
I think those sorts of things are left for the relevant people to answer. I won't get into that space. We've got a beautiful product, and we'll showcase that as we can.
Do you think that having these services, people are going to perhaps not just choose to visit one place, but might look at visiting both places, Sunshine Coast and the Tropical North?
Yeah, well, we've got the Alliance service that runs between Sunshine Coast and Cairns now, and so there's an opportunity for people to land into either to land into the Sunshine Coast or into Cairns, start their journey and finish it in either destination. And so we'll work collaboratively to see if we can build on that partnership.
How have those flights been going from a Cairns perspective? Are a few Sunny Coast people heading up your way?
Yeah, I think it's been well received, and so much so the Cairns people are actually using it to tag through to the Canberra service as well. So the service as well, but there's a bit more work that we can do together to actually strengthen it and see if we can improve the services.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you.